Alright, so it was late at night and I didn't get to share my opinion. Anyways, so I'm not one to really like have an opinion on any kind of like basic music theory or songwriting because I was only in band in sixth grade for that's it, just for sixth grade, that 1 year, and that was it. And I have the most minute understanding of songwriting and how notes and songs go together. The only thing I can remember is using metronomes, playing the French horn, and understanding some like four beats, half beats, rests, sixteens, eighth notes, and that's about it. So when it comes to music and how I play guitar, I basically self-taught myself and just looked at the tabs and correlated the frets to the numbers that were shown and learned how to play and strum all by myself instead of watching a video on it. And so when it comes to someone who knows and has an expert level opinion because they've been through music theory classes and they play full chords and not power chords, and they understand which note is which, and they don't even play the song the way it's supposed to be played, it really irks me because when you're in that mindset of, oh, I'm such an expert and I have such an amazing understanding of this, I'm actually just going to be a dick about it and say that it's not written properly and this could be arranged in a certain way and sound so much better, and this chord doesn't belong with this chord, because that's basically what he does the entire video. The entire video, this guy plays on his Telecaster, talking about Nirvana, going through, I think it's, let's see here. He goes through Love Buzz, Sliver, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Come As You Are, Lithium, In Bloom, Heart Shaped Box, All Apologies, Rape Me, Pennyroyal Tea, and both the Battle Girl versions, unplugged and studio. And talks about how Kurt sounds like a whiny kid and how he's playing extremely sloppy and how some of these notes don't go together. It talks about flat notes and flat sevens and fives and notes, and the way he plays the chords on his Telecaster, on his guitar, that's all like single coils, by the way. Like, I know enough about guitars to understand that Kurt used most likely a humbucker on his guitar, and so it's not gonna sound good with a single coil. He got close with Smells Like Teen Spirit, but what I don't understand about is the way that he took it, and he completely like dismantled it, which is what I'm sure his job is supposed to be. He's trying to figure out what they sound like, right? And compares them to so many other people. And I think what for him, because he's older and he's listened to more music than I have probably, he takes inspiration from, and I think in this video actually, if I remember correctly, he talks about how people who in the early 80s, when Eddie Van Halen started coming out and started tapping and shredding and all that actual nonsensical bullshit that they do on guitar to sound so much better, people were practicing that at the same time because that was the sound of the time, like Master of Puppets solo and shit. Like, I'm not saying I hate those songs, but I find all of that extra shit to be completely nonsensical because I basically grew up myself with listening to Nirvana's sloppy ass power chord playing. And so because of that, the way that he takes it is he's talking about how people were studying and learning how to play Eddie Van Halen before the internet, and then all of a sudden in the late 80s and the early 90s, Nirvana blows up with its power chords, and how people who were practicing that were like, oh, this is bullshit. How are they going to get these sounds out of this? Like, it sounds horrible, and it's horribly made. It's crappy, and there's no real effort put into it. There's no real songwriting, because Kurt himself says that he never really understood music theory. I mean, he talks about different keys in MTV Unplugged, but we don't really know his extent of knowing, and clearly he didn't have a good extent because he was just playing some bullshit that sounded good, because the whole point of the music is to have a feel, not be expertly precise. And because of the way that Kurt took it and made those songs, they blew up, because guess what? It's not all about being extremely perfect and tapping everywhere and having the perfect chords and jazz chords. I wanted to be a jazz guitarist and be like that because I saw the jazz band play at my middle school and I saw the jazz guitarist and I thought it was great. I've always wanted to be a jazz guitarist. But I just can't handle the people who are so into music theory and everything, so like expertly leveled, that they extremely nitpick every single little bit. Nitpick the guitars, the bass, the drums. He has a drum set and he's a beginner and he's nitpicking Dave Grohl's drum playing and Chad Channing's drum playing. It genuinely gets to a point to where it's just not even like just spitting out some bullshit. And then I know Terrence's gonna like this one. He also talks about how Toto, the band who made Africa, they're also like really very musically inclined and have like a whole bunch of expert level apparently to him. I wouldn't know because I don't listen. And then he says how he did an episode with Blink 182 and how basically the same thing with Eddie Van Halen and Nirvana, Toto and Blink 182. Toto being like so musically enhanced, and then Blink 182 barely doing anything and being successful and throwing them out of the water, and they're all like butthurt about it because they're experts and Blink 182 sounds like shit to them. And it's just like the whole point of writing music and making music is to appeal to people who are in their feelings. It's like 100% appealing to the feelings that you want to portray. It's not about, I'm gonna write this so expertly wonderful that it's gonna sound like a classical piece. Like, yes, there are people who enjoy that, but it doesn't always have to be perfect and classical and written down on music sheets for people to buy and understand. The notes don't have to be placed in certain places. There doesn't have to be rests everywhere. The whole point of Nirvana's music was teenage angst. There's no deeper meaning other than just teenage angst. That was the whole point. I'm sure it's the same thing for Blink 182. They had their reasons. Just because Toto fans don't like it doesn't mean a certain group won't like it. It's totally to appeal to teenagers and the way of the world in 90s and how the 90s was. It's not like, and it genuinely did like really piss me off because he was just talking about some just straight up bullshit the whole time, playing his fucking Nashville Telecaster, who he probably only plays like country. He probably only plays perfect jazz music. Like, that's not what it's all about, like, really. And it just really ticked me off because his opinions, he doesn't even know Nirvana at all. He said that he's completely brand new to it, and I don't really care much about LARPers and posers. I mean, they exist. People are gonna do that to copy other people and seem like something else. I don't really give a shit unless they're like actually coming towards me and talking about it, and I actually know what I'm talking about, and that I know for a fact they're spitting out just straight bullshit. So in his case, when he doesn't even know what's going on, and he actively looks through Wikipedia at all the different songs and singles, who composed and who wrote and what gear was used, like, yeah, that's fine. But this guy's a total gear snob, totally obsessing over everything, and he's playing everything digitally, and getting close. Yeah, that's fine. I like analog things. I want more analog pedals. I don't want to plug into a computer and be digital. Like, yeah, it's old school. That's what I like as of right now. And he kind of reminds me of Aaron Rash, who also does. He himself actually does do deep dives on Nirvana and Nirvana's tones. He went to the studio where Nirvana recorded In Utero and tried to perfectly replicate it. Like, there is a point of replication where it's complete obsession, and it's not actually, you're just trying to replicate everything and try to get it as close as possible and not even doing it for yourself. I mean, for the Aaron Rash, it sounds like he's trying to do it for himself. Like, he's been trying to figure it out for years on how to do it, and like, it's okay, but I mean, I don't have a trained enough ear to understand what they're really talking about, because the difference is that they like that Aaron Rash does in his videos, and he puts in is like, can you hear the difference between this guitar and this guitar? Like, I can hear something, but like it's not that big of a difference to where you need to be immediately switching to a whole new guitar, buying a new guitar and new pickups and electronics, and getting like a centimeter closer to what you need to get. Like, you can stick with that and just continue doing more research and get a lot more closer than that. Aaron Rash like impulse bought a whole bunch of Mustangs to try and get the Smells Like Teen Spirit, or no, the heart-shaped box sound. And that's like completely nonsensical to me, because how are you going to try and replicate something so hard, spend all your money on something, and only get like an inch closer? Like, I can understand like dreams and wanting to achieve something, and wanting to get as close as possible, but I mean, there just becomes a point where it's unnecessary and overboarding and obsession. Like I said, it's just like the gear snobs really tick me off. He talks about how Kurt bought a 12-string acoustic guitar, took all the 12 strings off, strung it for 6-string and left-handed, and how he was saying, he was mocking him, being like, yeah, I'm gonna play this piece of junk because that's punk, man, that's punk. I mean, it's not. Yeah, sure, in today's terms, yeah, it's punk, yeah, it's grunge to be like that, but I mean, that's not what he was thinking. He bought it because he wanted to buy it and use it. He knew he wanted to use that, and it was cheap. It was like 20 bucks. All he had to do was restring it. That's it. That's what he wanted to use. That's what he felt he needed to use. He wasn't thinking, oh yeah, man, this is so grunge and punk and cool. I'm gonna be such a cool pop punk fucking artist with this. Like, it's not. That's not what it's about. The music is about how it makes you feel. And I hear people all the time talk about Nirvana's lyrics being like so trashy and ununderstandable, and like you wouldn't even know what to do with them. You're not supposed to be deep diving into Nirvana's music. Nirvana's music is like entry level, completely entry level. It's not like go deep dive into Soundgarden's music or fucking Pearl Jam or something. They have music to deep dive into. The only stories with Nirvana's music is with Lounge Act, About a Girl, Heart Shaped Box. Like, it's so few stories that actually correlates. Mr. Mustache has a story. It's not that deep diveable. There's not much to get out of Nirvana at all. And I'm saying that as a like die-hard fan who knows just about everything, but not everything, because I'm not crazy. And it just like I watched the whole video, but after a certain point I just had it playing in the background because he was totally snobbing over everything, nitpicking, and it gets to a point. It really does. Like, there's no need to deep dive into Nirvana when it's entry level grunge. Entry level. It's not that important.